I'm here today to share how juice and sauce transform the way I look at life. As a Bay Area native, I've always been influenced by technology, for better and worse. After I graduated college, I moved back home to save money, and I worked in tech to make money. After my first 3 years, I was really successful. I'd been promoted 3 times, and I was making more money than I thought was possible for a 25-year-old. I was living the dream. Or so I'd been sold. I found that my success was defined by what I did temporarily and not who I was consistently. On July 1st, 2014, I showed up to my desk after absolutely crushing my sales quota for the half year, but the only thing I could focus on was the burning pain in my gut. Physiologically, the acid from my stomach was burning my esophagus. This was a physical manifestation of burnout. This literal gut reaction was a result of the unrelenting stress of being a people pleaser in a toxic work environment, selling something I wasn't passionate about, and not knowing how to process all of my emotions. As someone who spent most of my life living inside of my head, my body was screaming to be heard, and I finally listened. Ever since, I've been on a healing journey to align my work with my mind, body, and soul. I sought to understand what I truly value and create my own new definition of success. I began by taking time off to deepen my relationship with myself and my family. About 4 years ago, I closely observed my at the time 2-year-old niece Emma using an iPad. At first, she innocently went on YouTube to learn animal sounds and ABCs, but by way of autoplay and recommended video feeds, it quickly turned into sponsored content, and it got much darker from there. Last year, Ryan's Toys Review was the highest earning YouTube star and made $22 million promoting plastic toys and candy. What's worse is people will make videos of children's favorite characters doing depraved things to one another, figure out what keywords are going to populate in YouTube's algorithm so that it actually surfaces in the recommended video feed. Scary. Has anyone else seen this happen with the kids in their lives? Thank you. My initial reaction was, I love Emma more than anything. I have to do something about this. I can make better content than this. I could be new age, multicultural Mr. Rogers. Then realizing, if I love her so much, how come I don't love myself like that? Mr. Rogers fully embodied self-love. So I committed to helping her by helping myself. I made my well-being my actual job. I started a nonprofit called Happy, helping awesome parents parent intentionally, sharing the message that we have to take better care of ourselves so that we have the energy to take care of everything else in our lives. Over time, I understood that these devices were actually hindering a parent's ability to parent. Kids, and also adults, do well with clear boundaries and limited choices. When a kid has an iPad, they have virtually no boundaries and unlimited choices. But to YouTube, social media, or any employer monetizing your attention, they have no short-term incentive for you to develop those boundaries. This made me re-examine my own relationship with technology. Not only how I used it, but this tech culture that I grew up and worked in, which led me to co-founding Digital Wellness Collective, a network of experts and organizations enhancing human relationships through the intentional use and development of technology. Okay, so what does my story have to do with juice and sauce? First, I want to share context so y'all can smell what I'm cooking. One day, I overheard a video playing in the background while I was working, and the video star is a wise philosopher who's cloaked in a Best Buy uniform, who said, juice is temporary, but the sauce is forever. For some reason, this deeply resonated with me, and it wasn't just because I love sauce. It felt so much more profound. So I began to meditate on it. How is juice made? All right, well, juice, you're taking something external, you're sucking resources out of it. Typically, you're leaving waste behind, often the most nutritious parts of that thing, and use it to give you a temporary boost. This shows up in so many ways in our culture. I'll just name a few. Taking steroids is juicing. I got to give my phone some juice. And Contemplating this got my creative juices flowing. Little did I know, this creative juice was the spark to me making sauce. Sauce is more of a constructive and creative process as opposed to destructive and consumptive. You combine a diversity of ingredients, and you have to be patient, allowing time for those ingredients to meld together so that it can become greater than the sum of its parts. I would also say that all the best sauces are made at home and with lots of love. Now, the intention of sauce is not to be the main dish, but to take something that would likely otherwise be bland and elevate it, make it delicious. In our culture, we often hear of someone's secret sauce as their competitive advantage, or someone's special sauce, their thing that makes them unique, or someone who's dripping in sauce, someone with swag or style whose inner essence is radiating. Now, the more I let this analogy simmer, the more I started to see how juice and sauce shows up in my life, in the music I listen to, in my conversations and relationships, and in the way that technology is used. Given my experience, I see that tech is often designed to extract juice and to sell people juice and treat people like juice boxes, sucking up their finite attention for the benefit of the few. I dream of a world where technology is designed to help us make sauce, to help us humans create and become better versions of ourselves individually and collectively. A world where technology enhances our children's connection to self, community, and nature. Prior to my burnout, my whole life was focused on chasing these quick juice boosts instead of going through the much slower process of learning from and making different sauces with love. Back then, there was no amount of juice that could have ever filled the hole I felt in my soul. Only making sauce could do that. Upon deeper reflection, I realized that you actually need juice to make sauce. Juice is a form of energy, and there's no way I can make the sauce if I ain't got no juice left. Now, I'd like us all to be running off of 100% renewable clean juice, but until then, I know for myself, when I'm making a decision, I have to slow down. Take a deep breath, listen to my body, and ask, is this juice worth the squeeze? This is legitimately one of my mindfulness practices, and I'll give you a few examples of when I might ask this question. I just caught myself mindlessly scrolling through my Instagram or Facebook feed. Is this juice worth the squeeze? Maybe. Somebody's offering to pay me for work, and I'm not quite sure yet if it aligns with my values. Is this juice worth the squeeze? It might be. It doesn't mean that I always make the best decision for me, but I always come out of it with a lesson. This process helped me understand why some people don't make sauce. Turns out it's really easy to procrastinate making sauce when juice is almost always at our fingertips. We also have so many ingredients to work with that it's overwhelming to know where to start. Some call this the paradox of choice. Then once you start, you'll assuredly fail at some point, and there's often this underlying fear that people won't like it. The process can be uncomfortable, and that's okay. Even going through my own process of writing this talk, I went through numerous iterations before I got here. I was concerned about people judging me, and I still had to accept that it wouldn't be perfect. There's also no way that I could have done this alone. I had to actually ask for help. Many people listened, offered feedback, a friend put these slides together, and none of this would be possible without the container for this sauce that TEDx and Laney College provided for us. So thank you. Now, I think I'm still missing a few key ingredients in order to make this sauce special. I would love all of you out there to contribute a sound that brings you joy on the count of 3, and whatever comes out instinctively is perfect. Ready? 1, 2, 3. I cannot tell you how juiced I am to be making sauce with all you beautiful people right now. Thank you for reminding me that I'm not a juice box. Emma is not a juice box. And no human is a juice box. We're sauce makers. A sauce maker doesn't always get to choose the ingredients they have to work with, but they do get to choose how they integrate them into their sauce. My invitation to y'all is to find a kitchen where it's safe for you to experiment making sauces with loved ones. And as your authentic flavors begin to emerge, you may just cook up your own recipe books that you'll happily pass on to future generations. Thank you.